The Uganda Cranes do continue their preparations for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers as the Chic Cranes do get another partner or sponsor on board in preparations for the Commonwealth Games that will be in the city of Birmingham later this year. But also, Ndeje Elites still have an opportunity to play for a championship at the Africa Volleyball Club Championship. Why? Because all the 16 teams in the competition have qualified for the round of 16. That and much more we shall be discussing on the Sports Dish tonight, or should I say this afternoon, because we come your way every Monday to Friday and we discuss nothing but what's making rounds in the world of sports. Manzi Nyamhachi is still in Tunisia covering the Africa Volleyball Club Championship, but you will also be joining us on the show to discuss different issues here, and they are both in Tunisia but also what's making rounds here in Uganda and the world at large. In studio, I am joined by Shaban Lubega Benteke Chilevu, aka Sona #1 striker. The man has so many nicknames, but we'll stick to those today. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Clive, and good afternoon, everyone watching us. And I'm indeed the Sona #1 striker. although I've not featured for a while, I think over here, but they will definitely tell you I'm the #1 striker.
Sona needs a friendly match with CTV. We need to
but of course we will
a bit of what it means to play football, because
then which team do I play for?
You will play for Sona. There's something interesting about these Sona people. When they have friendly games coming up, they do a lot of publicity on different radio stations and TV stations. When they win, the news will be all over the place that they have won. When they lose, you can never even get an update of who started the game. Even if they scored a goal in the game they lost, you can never hear about it. So that is the kind of team Shaban here plays for. But remember, you can be part of the show by hashtagging us on Twitter. The hashtag is at the bottom of your screen, but also the number you see at the bottom of your screen is our WhatsApp number, and I'm holding the phone right now. You can send your messages through, your comments, your reaction and views, and we'll be able to read them out on air. Also on the show, we shall be joined by a journalist colleague of ours, David Kwalimwa. He is a Kenyan journalist, and we will be trying to put in perspective the future of Kenyan football, because just this week, CAF released a statement telling us that Kenya, together with Zimbabwe, had been banned from the upcoming 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers because of government interference. But before we look at Kenya, we shall be looking at the Uganda Cranes. The team were supposed to have a training session today at Chisasi Quality Playground. As soon as they go to the playground, the program changed. They had to get into the bus, and they did head to Gorobi at Fusion Sports Arena, where they did have a gym session today. But the highlight of the story is the fact that Tyrese Luknyomoi, the 21-year-old striker from the UK, is actually in camp. He arrived yesterday, went straight into camp, and he was part of today's training session.
Yeah, I think it is good that he's here. I know most of us are waiting to see what he's capable of, be it in training, but of course we would love to see him in a proper match. I know it's not going to be easy for him, especially to make adjustments. And I think I came across one of your, let me call them texts on one of the platforms. You saying that probably he may be surprised by the quality of the pitches we have down in Uganda. And we all know, some of them have been surprised because definitely he's used to better surfaces where he plays in the UK. But the good thing I like about him is the fact that he's a forward. We have been struggling, especially in the last couple of years, that is in the department of scoring goals. And you think that him being a forward, and if he has enough quality to help us, then that will be a massive addition to the team. But of course there is also a question that keeps on lingering in my mind. How will he be able to adapt to the setup that Mitchell puts out on the pitch? Because we all know we are not a ball playing nation. We're basically a nation that tries to grind out results. Sit back, defend well, and ensure you don't concede, and then somehow if one of the players uses their individual brilliance,
but this
score
man,
a goal.
I mean, he doesn't have assistants who can take players through those drills.
Those are so many.
About Luknyomoi, actually, we were supposed to have him on the show today, much as the interview was supposed to be recorded, but because of the change of the training schedule, because we thought the team would be training at Chisasi, and maybe by noon the training would have been done, he would have an opportunity to talk to the media, but unfortunately it wasn't the case because programs changed. But because we've been in constant communication, and from what I gathered, he arrived yesterday, and this is his first time in Uganda. Because I was asking him, was this your first night in Uganda? He told me, yes, this was my first night in Uganda. So I was like, I take it this is your first time in Uganda. And he's like, yes, this is his first time in Uganda. And he's been impressed, first of all, by the hospitality. He says everyone has been very welcoming.
For us.
He also told me the food is very similar, because there are times when he lives with his grandmother in Oxford, and his grandmother loves to cook a lot of Ugandan food. So there wasn't any bit of culture shock when it comes to the food. So while we're having all these discussions, in my mind I'm like, I can't wait to hear your comments after your first training session. Because of the quality of the pitch the team trains from. But of course, he says he's looking forward for an opportunity. He loves playing for Uganda. His mother is Ugandan, his father is Nigerian, but he says he would love to give what it takes to represent Uganda and try to give his best.
Definitely, we'll have to look out for the opportunity, and you think that between Nigeria and Uganda, it is. I think it is easier to play on the Ugandan national team because those guys have so many players across the world. But it is good that he's already adapting to the weather and the food well. The big question mark goes to how he adapts to that pitch from where they train, and then if he can somehow convince Mitchell that he can be part of the final squad, how he adapts to everything that Mitchell sets out in terms of playing and trying to achieve victories, because it's not easy. Yesterday you mentioned the fact that Eunice Centum was highlighting the style of play as the main issue as to which he shunned that call-up, but hopefully Luknyomoi can get into the team, and him being a striker will be a massive bonus. That is if he has the quality, because Mitchell told us these guys are going to be fast tested, and if he can make the cut and he has the quality that we think he may possess, then it will be a massive addition to the team.
Yeah. Can you try to mention the name again? Some people are wondering what kind of name is that. We just said the guy's father is Nigerian and the mother Ugandan, but I'll also give it a try. Luknyomoi. I hope I'll pronounce it properly. Luknyomoi, Tyrese, that's the name of the 21-year-old player who plays, I think plays in the 6th division in the UK or something. In Portsmouth, he's the best in Portsmouth, but he's also a university student. So you could say probably...
And he's still young, and someone you think that if he comes in and somehow we can get his paperwork done on time, and he gets into the setup.
By the time he's here, the paperwork is done, Shaban.
So many
people get express passports.
People get
express... No, yeah, exactly, but people literally get express passports in 2 days. But you also have a FUFA president who is a member of parliament. You also have the Speaker of Parliament, who is, you would probably want to say, one of the leading supporters of the Uganda Cranes. So if you have those kinds of people in your corner...
I like your choice of
but she is. Yeah. And if you have those kinds of people in your corner, surely things like getting an express Ugandan passport can't be an issue. The other development coming in from the Uganda Cranes camp, of course, revealed by the coach yesterday, Mitchell, is that the Cranes, who take on Algeria on June 4th, before playing Algeria, before playing Niger at Chitenda on June 8th, actually are going to have a 4 days camp in North America, rather North Africa. He's yet to reveal the country or when the team leaves, but of course leaving will be in the near future, but they are to have a 4 days camp in North Africa before they eventually take on Algeria, which I think for me would be a good development to prepare these boys.
Yeah, definitely it would be a good development, because in the past we've had issues of adapting to the climate, and we all know that the climate in North Africa is not the same as the one we have in East Africa. It is good, and it is a big boost to the team, especially when you look at the fact that continuously they keep on coming up with this semi and also camps in different areas. So I think the excuse of probably the climatic changes holidays and not adopting to the conditions in North Africa will be out of the picture, and we can step onto the pitch proper. These boys express themselves. Hopefully Mitchell allows them to express themselves, and and we pull off a show. we all know it.
You're asking for too much. You're asking for too much. You're asking for too much.
Maybe he's adjusting.
No chance, no chance. And of course, yesterday also before we left the show, I gave a hint how a few Uganda Cranes players were contemplating on retirement. Moses Waiswa is one of those. In an interview he gave with Football 256 yesterday, he said, first of all, he wasn't surprised
that he wasn't
by
summoned.
not being summoned by the Uganda Cranes coach.
Wow.
And he says he knows the coach. They have had these discussions before, and he's not the type of player the coach fancies because of his style of play. The coach prefer a defensive approach, and he's not that kind of player. So he says that could not be one of the reasons. He has a lot going on in his life, but he says in the near future, probably a month or two, he would have decided on his international career. But also what I gather, that a couple of other players, not old in age per se, are actually contemplating on retiring from international football because they are not comfortable with the kind of style that is being played, and because of that they don't get enough playing time, or they don't get the chance to go out there and do what they feel they should be doing for the national team because of the game approach and all that.
First things first, when I was reading that article on Football 256, I was shocked when he mentioned the fact that he wasn't surprised he wasn't summoned. Because this is a player who plays in a league that is better than, way better than Uganda's league.
The PSL.
So, so you would expect that these are players we're supposed to be looking at. And him playing in the PSL means that he maybe was anticipating a call-up. So if he comes out and says that I wasn't surprised, then something is behind what he's saying. But of course, we have seen him come and try to play football. I think he showed some flashes of brilliance and
Sebastian
De Sobre and McKinstry. And then when Mitchell comes in, you would see that his productivity on the pitch was just lowering. It tells you so much about how we play and how we set out to play as a team, and it leaves a lot of questions to be answered. If we cannot accommodate such playmakers in our team, where do we go from here? Are we going to go back to the style of trying to defend for 70 minutes and then pounce in the last 20 minutes to try and pick up victories? Or are we in the transformation that the FIFA president was talking about and how much they want to transform the team into probably a better ball-playing squad and team, and then we move on forward as a nation?
Well, we'll look to see if we'll be able to move forward as a nation. Uganda is in Group F of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. The finals will be in Ivory Coast. All Uganda needs is to finish in the top two teams. Of course, the other teams in the group include Algeria, include Niger, together with Tanzania.
If you draw all your 6 games, can you finish in the top 2?
No, you can't.
And then it's going to be difficult for us.
Those would be 6 points. Yeah, but away from that, looking at Group C. Now, Group C has countries like Burundi, Namibia, Cameroon, and Kenya. And guess what? This week, CAF released a statement saying that Kenya, together with Zimbabwe, won't be part of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers because these two teams or these two countries are banned indefinitely because of government interference.